Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection, for another very informative show today. We're coming to you both from Phoenix, Arizona, and from Tucson, Arizona, and I have behind me the map of the state. So we hope to provide very, very good information today. Let me remind you that we do all the radio shows are Facebook Live. So you can go to our page at AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. You can join live. If you have comments, do share them with us, and I will basically show them on the video as well. That would, be very helpful. Anybody that is joining. Today we have a very, very important topic, one that I've been considering for a long, long time, and that is the matter of research, clinical research as it relates to medicine. And we have an issue expert with us and also a participant of a very important program. So I will introduce them to you at this point. But again, this is something very, very, as Hispanic Latinos, it is a very, very important information, very important that we understand where, I guess, medicine is derived from and how it is linked to research. And we have an expert who is going to help us understand that very, very well today. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Francisco Moreno, Dr. Francisco Moreno, and Lorena Verdugo. Allow me to start with Francisco Moreno, Dr. Francisco Moreno, and I'm going to ask each one of you, if you wouldn't mind, to take a minute to whatever you need to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we're going to dive into this matter of the show today, which is actually, or by the way, it's called All of Us Be One of the 1 Million. What a title, huh? All of Us Be One of the 1 million. So here we go, Dr. Francisco Moreno. Thank you so much. Welcome, and take it away. Give us a little bit about yourself, please.
First of all, thank you, David, very much for having us in your program. It's a pleasure to be here with you at AARP Hispanic Connection. It's my honor also to tell you a little bit about what is it that I do in relation to the All of Us research program and the project that I work for. So, I'm a physician and I serve as a psychiatrist at the University of Arizona and Banner Health. I also serve as Associate Vice President for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion at the University of Arizona Health Sciences. I direct the Hispanic Center of Excellence, which has a mission of advancing the health of Hispanics in the Southwest and beyond. And also have the pleasure of serving as one of the multiple principal investigators of the All of Us research program here in the state of Arizona. A part of what we're hoping to do through the efforts that I share is to facilitate the engagement of the community for the All of Us research program.
Thank you, Dr. Francisco Moreno. I am really, really eager to begin to understand this connection between research, clinical research, and medicine. I am really, really interested, and I believe our Hispanic Latino community perhaps would benefit quite a bit from understanding the connection, and more than that, not just understanding the connection, but making a decision to participate. Because a lot of times we hear about research and, okay, good, clinical trials, sounds pretty good, but we don't offer ourselves because perhaps we don't understand the benefit that can bring to medicine. So we're just going to dive into that in just a bit. Lorena Verdugo, you work for El Rio Community Health Center, and you are a board member, if I'm not mistaken, it's PEB, the Participant Engagement Board. And not only a member, but you also participate in the program. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to dive into some questions and some interactive conversation.
Sure. Also, thank you, David, for having us today. And yes, my name is Lorena. I work for the Community Health Center, El Rio Community Health Center in Tucson, which is a federally qualified health center and is also one of the partners for the All of Us research program. I formed part of the participant engagement board since the beginning, since All of Us launched, going on 3 years, I believe. And it's something that I really enjoy bringing to the community, especially the Hispanic community. I am shared with the Mexican consulate. I coordinate the Ventanilla de Salud at the Tucson Consulado de Mexico. So it's a lot of education that we're bringing to our Hispanic communities, as well as, I mean, others. But that's a little bit about me.
Okay, I can tell that you are, participating in the program. And before I come back to Dr. Moreno, Francisco Moreno, do you agree with me that Hispanic Latinos, Spanish-speaking, folks, especially as it links to your own experience? I don't know whether you had participated in the past in research programs, but I assume that you've seen something, you've understood something. And would you agree that we need this information, we would greatly benefit from it, and that there's a definite need to participate?
Yes, definitely. I definitely agree with you, David, on that. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about the All of Us, because they are so committed to our community. We have a very diverse community in Arizona. And so, not all of us are the same in region wide. But what it is here in Tucson, I can speak for, and I think it's a lot of education that we need. And it's a very high need within our culture and our population with Hispanics.
Perfect. And now, Dr. Francisco Moreno, help us. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Can you help us connect the dots between research and medicine?
Well, that's a very important question, and it's something that we've all seen illustrated right now with COVID-19. We have this huge pandemic, which is one example of the many issues that we deal with every day in medicine. And you can be passing the word of how to take care of people, how to prevent the disease, how to diagnose a disease, how to treat a disease, and how to recover from it. And you can either do it by word of mouth, by thinking of what somebody believes may be a good remedy, or you can base this on what shows scientific evidence. So research is the way in which we work and organize the study of information that allows us to determine what will work for people, allows us to diagnose people. So it's research that allows us now to detect who has COVID-19, for example. It's research that allows us to know who has an antibody to fight it and keep some degree of immunity. And it's also research what's informing us as to which new agents can help us work with people. And it's also research that will allow us to determine what's a good vaccine and other kinds of interventions that will help us live and interact with this virus. So similar to that, medicine is a discipline that practices based on evidence that has been found as opposed to the opinion of a particular individual. And that's why it's so important to have that connection between research and medicine, because you want to practice on fact, on findings that have been well documented, as opposed to the inspiration of one person or one man. Of course, there's a lot of elements of that art in medicine as well, but it has to be scientifically based.
So what is it involved? What do they research? Is this studying people, conditions? What is it that they do the research on?
Okay, so let me ask you a clarifying question, if I may. Are you
Yes.
asking about the All of Us research program or research in medicine in general?
Let's do first in general, because as I understand it, medicines are made or created as a result of research, right?
Yes,
So what are elements that are important for the researchers, right, to know about a particular group to come up with solutions to health problems?
so the first thing you need to know is, of course, in medicine, we do research that has to do with vulnerability factors, risk factors for a disease, and so sometimes the interventions that we can try to promote and provide in order to address those risk factors. Sometimes we also, within medicine, we study, for example, what are some of the symptoms that happen to people. And then we also study what are some of the treatments that we can use for individuals. And each of those elements of research is a different phase and ask a very small defined question. So, for example, again, if you're looking at an infectious disorder, one of the things that must be really established is what works for whom and when. So that a medication that can help somebody who's in a critical stage may actually hurt somebody in a very early stage. And that's why we need to make sure that we understand the progression of a disease. We need to understand through trial what helps people and what hurts people, and try to find interventions and treatments that have the least amount of harm and the greatest amount of benefit for the person.
Before we go on our first break and our only break, because this is only a 30-minute show, is race, ethnicity, does it play an important part in research? Is it important that different members of certain ethnicities participate?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is true for a lot of different reasons. One of them is we have genetic differences between racial groups that sometimes inform risks, vulnerabilities, or protective factors for a given condition. There are definitely diseases that run more in some groups than other. And then there's also the environment, which means particular groups may have a different diet, a different lifestyle. They may be exposed to social factors and other determinants that make it so a particular group may be at higher risk than other people. And again, taking advantage of the example that many of us are here aware of right now, if we think of COVID-19, a lot of the Hispanic community members and a lot of our African American community members have been very badly affected by COVID, not only having higher rates of infection, but also higher rates of complications and mortality. And that is explained by a lot of different factors, which we want to learn a lot more about. And the only way we will learn more about that is through doing the research.
Thank you, Dr. Francisco Moreno. We will be taking our first and only break. This is a 30-minute show. Stay with us. This is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. The topic today, all of us, be one of the 1 million. We'll be right back.
Diálogo comunitario.
Ofrecer recursos y herramientas para elevar la calidad de vida es el propósito de
Diálogo comunitario.
Sus servidoras,
Claudia Saucedo
y Mirna Pineda.
Les brindaremos la información relevante y necesaria para los hispanos.
Las oportunidades de desarrollo existen. Da el siguiente paso. Diálogo comunitario.
Acompáñanos de lunes a viernes a las 10 de la mañana.
Tu espacio de aprendizaje y superación.
Saludos amigos, le habla Mili Casas. Los invito a que se sintonicen todos los jueves de 9 a 10 de la mañana a 9. Todos los jueves de 9.
El 13 de enero. Sus permisos DACA. Escúchenos este viernes de las. Va a hablar de él.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. This is AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. The topic today is all of us. Be one of the 1 million. I want to engage Lorena, but before I do, we have to introduce the All of Us program. Dr. Francisco Moreno, you are trying to engage or enroll 1 million individuals. I understand that out of this 1 million, that the share to Arizona is 100,000. Am I correct on that?
You are very correct, and we are very fortunate to be one of those enrollment sites and have an opportunity to have such a big part of the representation of our country.
Perfect. So basically, we're trying to enroll in Arizona because this is nationwide. From what I gather, the program is called All of Us Research Program. So can you briefly tell us what it is? And then I want to ask Lorena, because Lorena Verdugo is a participant of the program and it's a board member. So we need to engage her. She's been waiting quietly there, and we really need to engage her. So just kind of do an overview of the program, and then we'll come back to you, Lorena, if you don't mind.
Great. So a couple of points that I want to make about the All of Us Research Program. This is part of a nationwide initiative called the Precision Medicine Initiative. And that speaks about personalized medicine. It speaks to knowing which treatments will work for what person at what time, as opposed to believing that everybody gets treated the same way with the same medications, or everybody has the same risks or the same complications from things. This is an effort, and this is the new kind of doing research, rather than just working on one disease, bringing a lot of people and asking people to give us a few pieces of information, information about themselves, their personal health, their lifestyle, and also give us access to their electronic health records and give us a sample of blood and urine. What this allows us to do is to not only have information about people that have one disease, but everybody else. And that's why we need such a large amount of individuals, so that we can have a lot of the personalized information, the biological information, the genetic information from people, the health records that people have had, and information that people will continue to contribute for the program. That is what really will allow us to be able to personalize treatments, as opposed to put everybody in a box and believe that we have to treat everybody the same way.
I don't know if I missed this, Dr. Moreno. Is this only for Hispanic-Latinos or 1 million in general?
So this is for 1 million in general.
Okay.
It is very important for us in Arizona because we have a good proportion of Hispanics, and because the Hispanics that we have in Arizona are also sometimes different for a variety of reasons to our Hispanics in other parts of the country. We're a very heterogeneous group. We want to make sure that we have an important representation of the population that gets recruited in here. We're very happy that we've had a very good response of our local Hispanics.
If you had, by the way, I am a participant of this program, and if you had asked me a few years ago, I don't know, before I joined AARP, I worked for AARP because at AARP I have been fortunate to get a lot of education, and it was like a no-brainer for me to join this program. We just lost Lorena, so hopefully she'll reconnect. If someone had asked me to join a research program 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have not even considered it. So what I would like to ask Lorena when she joins again, it takes something for an individual to be willing to participate in a program. If we paid attention to what you just shared, Dr. Moreno, you are asking basically a lot in terms of the information that they will be willing to provide, even the medical records. So I see Lorena already trying to connect. Let me see. I'm going to add her to see if she's there. So it's a lot of, you're asking for a lot, and I think it takes an individual to really understand the connection between research and medicine to be willing to provide so much personal information. So what I'm going to do is, are you there, Lorena?
I'm here. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
see
we
me.
cannot see you, but we can hear you. Hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
That might be
Okay.
even better if you could just hear
Would
me.
you mind? Would you mind telling us what motivated you to participate in a program that basically and honestly asked for a lot of personal information? What was the motivation? What did it for you?
Right. And yes, I am also a participant of the study. So I think I was one of the first ones that became one of the participants. And then after that, joined the participant engagement board. But one of the things that leaded me to joining is hoping to make that difference for the community and being one in a million, like you say. I think we as Hispanics have so many underlying conditions that we need to have more research involved. And that's mainly one of the concerns that I had and one of the interests that made me be a participant myself.
Right. So what does it mean to be a participant?
So to be a participant of the program or
Yes.
okay. So to be a participant, it's very easy actually to be a participant. There's not a lot of it is we do ask that some of the personal information is given, but it's all for our own benefit. There are some exam or not exams, some screenings involved, which are basic screenings that you would probably have at a physical. There are questionnaires to be answered regarding your background and your family history, which I found very interesting because a lot of things that we suffer are, can be genetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there are other things that we can change with our own lifestyle and just having lifestyle changes that can maybe prevent some of those conditions that many of us see in I'm talking about the Hispanic culture, especially like diabetes and obesity and all that heart conditions. So other than that, it's basic information. The staff at the All of Us is wonderful. They work a lot with promotoras, and they earn the trust of the participants so from day one, and I think that facilitates it. It makes it a lot easier for someone to become a participant.
I am in the process of participating. I signed up. The next steps, as I believe, is one takes a survey, and then you do urine test and blood test to my knowledge. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I am in that process of those 3 steps. And then my plan, once I know what this is all about, is to try to convince my children and my wife to participate, and then my more extended family. Have you been able to spread the message to your families, Lorena?
Yes, definitely. So I think, and that's going to facilitate it too, David, because one of the things I like to share is that, once you have the experience, you have the expertise to then tell people what it is like and share your own experience. And I think that opens that communication among people that, can benefit from this, and especially if it's your own family. So yes, I was fortunate enough to sell it. I don't want to say
Mm-hmm.
sell it, but to, convince how important this is and what the product will be later on. I mean, it's not like we're going to have maybe something tomorrow or next week, but it's time is going by so fast, but we will have some research data that is going to help us tremendously.
Right. Thank you so much, Lorena. Dr. Francisco Moreno. So what is it again, just in a nutshell, the areas of this research as a participant from the angle of a participant, what can a participant expect to do, to give to the program?
So the participant is going to do, as you mentioned, do surveys. They will do what Lorena referred to as like a physical exam. It's just a very basic measurements of the body. We do blood pressure, vital signs, a little bit of measurement. That's very non-invasive and it's very easy to do. It doesn't take very much time. And then again, we ask people to give us consent to obtain their health records and to study their blood samples and urine samples. One point that I wanted to really emphasize is the safety and security and the protection of the data. As you mentioned, we're asking for a lot, and one of the biggest concerns people have is what's going to happen with my information. People have heard about data for genes being sold by the companies like 23andMe and others, but this program will have your data anonymized, so your identifying information is not going to be utilized in the research, and it has a certificate of confidentiality that protects us from having to release the data. Even if there's a subpoena by the law enforcement agencies or immigration, they cannot obtain any of the data from the study. So that's a very nice safeguard that allows the Hispanic community to be more confident.
We only have a few seconds. Lorena, please make the call, the pitch to the audience. I mean, please, how much do you want them to participate and to join? Take about 20, 30 seconds.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said before, this is something that's going to benefit not only ourselves, but as well as our families and our generations that are coming. You know, one of the first things that came into my head is, of course, I want my children to know, you know, what the genetics are in our family from both sides, you know, as well as my husband and mine. And so this is something that's going to help them. And it's something that maybe is going to prevent so many illnesses later on. And that's the biggest benefit that anyone can get from this.
Lorena Verdugo, thank you so very much for joining our show. Dr. Francisco Moreno, thank you very, very much. I think this is a good beginning. We definitely have to do more shows. I strongly believe that this is a very important topic that we will continue to address. This is the end of our show. Manténgase en sintonía, sigue el programa en español. Pásela muy bien.